Hello and welcome to the Stamp Around UK vlog hop. Today, or this month rather, we are going to be making clean and simple. And I'm going to try and keep it real. I've got amazing silhouettes on my desk, but nothing else. So I'm quickly going to be finding everything. And I thought if I keep it real and just kind of do it in real time, it will show you how long it takes to actually make a clean and simple card. I've got no idea how long it's going to take. Sometimes you would think it was going to be a bit shorter because perhaps, you know, you may look at a clean and simple card and think, well, they've hardly put anything on it. However, in my experience, I would say that sometimes clean and simple can take just as long as something that's a little bit more, looks a bit more complicated, because you need to perhaps think over it a little bit longer and think about the design a bit more carefully, or perhaps you may decide to put added detail. So this may be what happens here. So I've grabbed my clear embossing powder. I have got my heat tool just at the side of me here, so I'm going to just get that warmed up. Oh, it's making a weird noise on my desk. Okay, I'll stick it there. And I'm going to get out some white embossing powder. So I just need to find that. There it is. And my plan is to cut a card base out of this. This is the watercolor paper, switch that off, that we do. It's called Fluid 100, this stuff here. And my plan is to stamp a butterfly in the corner and then watercolor around it. Okay, so that's my plan. So I'm cutting my watercolor paper down so that I know it will fit onto a piece of half a piece of A4, which will be my card base. So I like this butterfly. I've already got a block out. That's probably a bit too big, actually. Let's need a smaller one. Let's go for this one. This is the D block. So all the blocks that Stampin' Up! Sell have got letters assigned to them. So A being generally the smaller one, going up all the way to the fantastic, what's this one? The H block, I think? F block. Oh dear, got that wrong. Okay, so that's the F block. And as you can see, that's about the size, just a little bit bigger, of a piece of matting layer for a A6 card. That's UK size, by the way. Right, so I've got my see, I had a dirty block there, but never mind. So I've got my Versamark ink and I've got my butterfly ready to go. And I'm going to just take a bit of time to make sure that this is inked up really, really well. And I'm going to grab my embossing buddy, which is on sale with the embossing the embossing powder mat. Sorry, not mat, but tray. I'm just going to give that a little clean out because oh no, I've got a cloth here. I'm going to give that a little bit of a clean out. I obviously didn't clean it from the last time I used it, and use that to do my embossing on in a second. So I'm going to pop that in there. Do embossing buddy. I also do my fingers because it may be a few minutes since you've washed your hands, and so even a few minutes later the oils in your skin are starting to come through, so it's worth just giving them a little bit of powder, because every time you touch a piece of paper with your oily fingers, it does transfer. Right, so I would like this butterfly, I'll just have it here in the corner so it looks like it's flying off in that direction, and I'm going to press it down nice and firmly and give it a bit of time for that ink to transfer, and then I'm ready to put my white heat embossing powder over the top of it and then give it a tap. And as you can see, because I put the embossing buddy on, it's not really stuck anywhere else, which is exactly what I want. So let's see if we can get this down to the bottom, and then just pop that out. Ooh. Like so. And then this can go all the way back then into my pot, and I'm going to grab the brush that actually comes with the tray. Now this is available in the mini catalogue that's available currently until December the 31st. So if you think this is useful, then grab it while you can. So there's the tray with the little cap. You also get a pair of tweezers, a brush and an embossing buddy. And always return the lids back to your jars before you do anything else. Top tip of the day that I will keep repeating because it's worth knowing. Right, so I'm just applying some heat now to my gorgeous butterfly. And now the actual image is not completely solid. It's a kind of watercolour effect. And in a way, what I'm doing is kind of reversing the process or the imagery, because when you see its depiction on the actual case, you see how it's dark grey. So this is kind of an interesting way of using it. It's like a reversal of how it works. Okay, I think that's all my embossing powder melted. Just going to give that a couple of seconds to dry out. Now, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to be painting this in, but I know for sure I do want my brushes. And this is where I may have to run to the kitchen and get some water. Let me just see if I've got a... sometimes I have a little spray bottle somewhere in my craft room. See, I'm telling you, this is all in real time. I'm sharing you the ups and downs of what it's like to be a YouTuber when one isn't actually prepared. Right, I'm going to have to pause the video, guys, and come back to you. Okay, and by the power of magic, I'm back with my water. So I'm going to grab the Reinkers that I have in my box here. Now, I will give you a little tip. If you don't have Reinkers, there is an alternative. So I'll quickly show you what to do if you don't have Reinkers. If you've got an ink pad, all you need to do is grab an ink pad and a block, like so. And what you can do is just pop your block into your ink pad and use that as a palette to get some watercolour going. So you just add your brush with water on it. So these are the fillable water brushes. Now, I haven't actually filled it with water because it was easier just to grab a glass of water because I'm clearly so unprepared today. You'll have to forgive me. I'm probably experiencing a little bit of jet lag. I arrived back from oh sorry, no, I'm going to do a different process. What am I doing? I arrived back from New Orleans on Tuesday evening. I did have a good night's sleep, but this is now Wednesday afternoon that I'm filming this, and although I did sleep well, I'm just, my head's a little bit woozy. Okay, so I'm getting some clean water initially because what I want to do is wet and dampen my whole piece of paper or cardstock or watercolour paper. Sorry, this process only tends to work with watercolour paper, so just be aware of that. Don't try doing this with the basic white cardstock because it won't work. It's a very different type of cardstock. Now, if you are an experienced watercolourist, you probably be shouting at me saying, Ruth, why don't you just stick that down onto a backing board or something? That's because I'm kind of trying to keep it real and just show you with kind of minimal supplies how to do this kind of process. So I think I want a bit of a kind of darker background. So I'm going to start off by just popping some of that lovely Bermuda Bay into the background, not Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss into the background there. And I'm going to try and keep away from the butterfly. I'd like to give that a different colour in a second. So let's just do that. Now I'm going to get my Reinkers out because I do want to show you that process. And I'm going to grab a clean block and clean off my brush. So I'm kind of winging this. I hadn't really planned what colours I was going to do. I just know I wanted to do something nice and dark and something that will contrast with the white a little bit. I'm just adding more water. Oh, my water's a little bit pinky now, so this is going to taint everything, but I just wanted to get some of that yellow in there. Oh, look at that, look what it did. It just spread out beautifully, didn't it? So maybe just add a little hint of that yellow in the background. I don't want to put too much yellow because I don't want it to clash. There. And then, oh, should I grab some rich razzleberry? Because I want to darken up around and about the place. So let me have a look at the time. So I've already been going for, what's that, 10 minutes. And I'm not really close to finishing. Well, I don't think I am. I'm just going to add some of that darker. And that was neat ink going on there. And look at the way it's kind of, you know, reacted against the water that was already on there. Just going to wet some of this a little bit more because I really like that reaction. So then get the neat. Isn't that fabulous? Let's darken up the edge of this a bit. I'll drop a little bit of water, just a little bit of plain water, just to move some of that colour around a bit more. So plain water, and then a bit of the darker ink, like so. And by adding the water to start off with, it's got that lovely sort of pool of resources to kind of react to. I'm loving what that's doing. Isn't that fabulous? Now, I'm not sure if I want to go and add a little bit of additional contrast into here. See how that works. Just move that around a little bit. Don't really want to add any more water, and I actually want to soak this up a bit because I want that to remain yellow. A little bit of purple onto here. Okay. I think I'm liking that. Oh, we've got stray brush hair. Now if that happens, just remove it because it can make quite a bit of difference when you pull some ink around and you've got a stray hair. So, right, now the last thing that remains to do is a bit of dottage or splattage. I think I want to stay away from the butterfly, so I'm just going to kind of aim it around here. I'm wondering whether just do one little drop of Reinker. Okay, just to get some darker dots happening. Not quite going where I wanted it to go, but never mind. There we go. So I would still classify this as a clean and simple card, because although it's very colourful, I've used a minimal image and also kind of just the overall look. Although, like I said, colourful, it's still very simple. It's not like super fussy, although you may argue with me. So please let me know in the comments what you think. Would you classify this as clean and simple? Okay, so I'm going to have to let that dry a little bit, but I'm going to speed it up a little bit because for the sake of this video, and like I said, I want to keep it real. I want to show you that how long it actually takes to make a card from start to finish. I'm obviously not going to show you my tidying up time, but the reality of, you know, stamp set on desk, what am I going to do? Now, a disclaimer, I do try and store things that I use very close to my desk, okay, because I make videos to show you how I use my Stampin' Up products. I do try and minimise the amount of time it takes for me to find things. I also keep my stamps in alphabetical order, and that's for two reasons. One, it helps me try and remember, it forces me to remember the names of the stamp sets, so that I feel like you know, I know what I'm talking about when someone asks me a question. And also it makes it easier to find, because once you've learnt the names of the stamp sets, if you always return them in alphabetical order, it's a bit easier. I tend to store my blocks on my desk as well. They're literally just there. I have my brushes in front of me, and I have my Stampin' Blends just to the right, and I can literally reach over and grab scrap paper on cardstock, and also full-size sheets if I have to. So, and my inks are also quite close by. So I do recommend, if you are building a craft area for yourself, have a think about what you go for more often. What do you reach for? What do you need to have on your desk? I don't know where that came from. A little water droplet. It might be my talking. Okay, I am so pleased how that turned out. I really am. So I just feel that to show this all off, all it needs is a white cardstock base. So I'm reaching, oh, I'm dropping stuff. I'm reaching over to grab my thick basic white card, which I do think I've got some open, but this is what I landed my hands on. So I'm going to grab that out of there. Now I am aware I've got inky blocks around me, so I'm just going to move those over, because I don't really want to contaminate my lovely white cardstock. And I'm going to remove that so that I've got a clean area. So as I said, I did cut this down to size so it will fit on a half piece of A4, UK A4 card. So I'm going to score that down halfway, turn it around and cut it 10.5 centimetres, which is half of the 21, and I'm going to use that now as my card base to mount my gorgeous watercolour butterfly. So I'm going to stick this into place, but I do want to add a little bit of embellishment afterwards, and the pearlized I keep calling it pearlized or whatever, oh, I did get it right, pearlized enamel effects basics white, sorry, say that fast after you've had a cocktail or two. Oh, and that one's running out. Okay, yes, that white enamel effects, fabulous. And I just think that would be nice to add contrast. Now I'm adding quite a bit of glue to this because it might be a bit damp, but it also, because it's a thicker cardstock, I just feel that it's worth adding that extra glue. And also, when you've used water on something, it tends to curl it up a little bit, so it is worth just adding those extra spots, and then just give that a really good firm press down. Hold it into place, and probably after I've done, oh no, I'm not going to be able to, I was going to say after I've done this I'll put it under a block of books, but I'm about to add the puffy paint, so that's not a good idea. So the best thing to do is just make sure it's completely stuck down before you do anything else. And the white, this the multi-purpose glue is pretty good to go after about 10 to 20 seconds. Right, where's my pearly stuff? So I just want to add a few kind of extra dots around the place, and I forgot to give it a shake. You've got to do the kind of like what's it called, the ketchup shake, or give it a tap, just to make sure that kind of any air bubbles that are at the bottom there kind of start floating up, because it can be a bit frustrating when you go to squeeze something out and it just goes okay, so it's worth doing the tap or the shake or whatever it is that you need to do. So I'd like some different size dots, so you could create the different size dots by squeezing harder or softer. Okay, and maybe a few up here. And they're a nice contrast to the dark Blackberry Bliss. Maybe some up here too. Yep. I'm going to turn it round so it's closer to me. Have a look at it. Give it a little tap from the underside. It just helps to make any mountains collapse. There we go. And there you have my clean and simple card. Please do go and check out the description of this YouTube video, because there are some other fabulous hoppers from the UK and you'll get to see their take on clean and simple. Thank you for watching me, guys. Please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see, because I'd love to see you again, and leave a comment if this has inspired you and you can't wait to get your watercolours out. And well, not actually watercolours, I've used Reinkers, so isn't that fabulous? And the water brushes. I will also put a list of all the products I've used as well, so if you'd like to shop with me, the link will be in the description. Take care for now. Bye.